Hi, welcome. In this video we will be talking about the rule system of Symbaroum, the dark fantasy role-playing game by the Swedish developer Järnringen. So this game right here, as I said before, I will be running quite a few one-shots on my channel when it comes to Symbaroum, and I'm making this video so that I don't have to explain the basic rules over and over again with every one-shot. So in this video you will learn whatever you need to basically participate in a one-shot, assuming you have a character that the game master or someone else has already prepared for you. We will be making a character creation video a little later, but so keep your eyes open. We'll do that later as well. But for now, let's jump into the rules. Now, the rule system of Symbaroum is, at its core, fairly simple. You have 8 different attributes, and all those attributes are between 5 and 15. Higher and lower is very, very rare. And you basically need to take a d20, you roll it, and you need to get even the same number or lower than your attribute to be successful. So say, for instance, you're trying to lift something heavy, and you have to roll your strong attribute, of course. That's the name of the attribute. It's called strong. So if, say your strong is 12, you need to roll a 12 or less to be successful. By every level of success counts. So if you roll an 8, you have 4 levels of success. If you roll a 5, you will have 7 levels of success, because that's a 7 below your 12. So every level of success makes your success better, which often won't play much of a role, but sometimes it will. These attributes can be modified by the game master by giving you a plus or minus on your stats, depending on how difficult the task that you are trying to do is. For instance, if you're lifting a heavy boulder, the game master might give you a -5 on your strong, so you'll have to roll a 7 or less, because 12 minus 5 is 7, to succeed to lift this heavy boulder. If it's not such a heavy boulder, the game master might give you a +3. So all of a sudden, you only have to roll a 15 or less to succeed, which means that rolling low in Symbaroum is good when it comes to nearly all the checks, except for damage, where rolling high is good, and having high stats is also good. Now let's talk about the 8 attributes. The first attribute is called discreet. Discreet determines how silent you are, how agile you are, and how, well, discreet you are. It basically determines how good you are at all these things that are classically associated with a rogue character. Sneaking, pickpocketing, picking locks, lying to people, that sort of thing. Your second attribute is quick, which tells you how well-balanced your character is, how high his agility is, how quick his reflexes are. Quick can be quite important in battle, because both initiative and your character's defense, what you're rolling to avoid being hit, are based on this stat. The cunning attribute tells you your wit, your knowledge, and your education. The strong attribute is telling you how much muscles your character has, but also his amount of stamina and his toughness. So how many hits can he take, how much health does he have, is directly influenced by the strong attribute. The accurate attribute is hand-eye coordination. It is mostly important in combat and very rarely used outside of combat. It is used for both melee attacks and ranged attacks. The vigilant attribute tells you how sharp your senses are and how aware your character is of his surroundings. And then the resolute attribute is your willpower, your resistance to influence. So could be pain, could be intimidation and such. And also how good you are with magic. A strong will can control the magic in Symbaroum. A weak one cannot. So everyone who has some sort of magical powers, every character will have a fairly high resolute attribute. And then the very last of the 8 attributes is persuasive, which is basically your charm attribute. How good are you with people? How good are you at making people do what you want them to do, using your words and gestures and such. Now, a second very important thing in the rules of Symbaroum is the fact that the game master never rolls dice. Might sound weird, but that's how it is. So if Say, for instance, someone's trying to sneak up on you, it's some NPC. The Game Master is not rolling the NPC's discreet. Instead, you are rolling your vigilant to see if you hear him, but your vigilant is modified by the NPC's discreet. So the higher the NPC's discreet is, the more negative a modifier you will get. We won't get into that in too many details because your Game Master will always tell you how much minus or how much plus you get to your attributes before you roll. When an enemy attacks you in combat, the Game Master is not rolling an attack. You are rolling a defense. Again, the higher attribute is the opponent's attribute is, the opponent's accurate usually is, the lower your defense will get. Not counting the attributes now, the most important part of your character is his abilities. Now, abilities are basically special powers that your character has, and they determine how experienced a character is in Symbaroum. So an experienced character in the world of Symbaroum will not necessarily have higher attributes than a beginner's character, but instead he will have many more and higher level abilities than a beginner's character. Abilities in the world of Symbaroum have 3 different levels, or nearly all abilities do, not every single one. Novice, Adept, and Master. And as you progress, as you gain experience points, and as you spend them to buy more and more abilities, you can also level up those existing abilities that you buy at Novice level, get them to Adept level, get them to Master level. Now, Adept level and Master level are more expensive to buy, but they're also more and more powerful. And the beauty about Symbaroum is there is no classes, so you can buy whatever abilities you want, providing you have enough experience points to afford them. So you can mix and match and make a rogue fighter mystic character without any problems. But we'll talk about this in more detail during character creation. Most of the abilities in Symbaroum are geared towards combat, but there's also many other abilities, like spells, for instance, every single spell is its own ability, which means that every single spell also has a Novice, Adept, and Master level, which means that you can become stronger and stronger at a specific spell. Other abilities allow you to break the rules or bend them a little. For instance, there is an ability that allows you to use your Vigilant attribute for ranged attacks instead of your accurate attribute, because your senses are so supernaturally sharp that you can basically catch glimpses of the future and read the opponent so well that you know where he will be, which makes it much easier for you to hit him with a bow. That's as much as the fluff explanation for this rule is anyway. Now, combat in Symbaroum is also not too difficult. There is no initiative roll. How it works is whoever has the higher quick attribute goes before the one with the lower quick attribute. During your turn in combat in Symbaroum, you have a move action and you have a combat action. A move action is things like obviously moving, jumping and such. It is also things like drawing a weapon. It is also things like disengaging from an enemy and so on. And then an attack action is most likely casting a spell, using some sort of potion or artifact, or activating an ability sometimes. And of course, attacking someone, whacking someone with a melee weapon or shooting him with a ranged weapon. Usually how an attack works is you're rolling your accurate to hit, or whatever other stat, if you have special abilities that allow you to attack with a different attribute. And you are modifying this attribute by the opponent's defense. If an opponent is trying to attack you, you are rolling your defense modified by the opponent's accurate, or whatever stat he's using to attack you with. If you succeed, you hit an attack, and the opponent will soak a little bit of the damage that you're rolling with his armor. If the enemy attacks you and you fail your defense, you are hit. If you succeed your defense, you dodge or you parry and you take no damage. If you are hit, then you will take a specific amount of damage, say for instance 5 damage from an attack of that an NPC deals against you. And now you can soak that damage with your armor. Your armor doesn't influence your defense, but it gives you a soak. It gives you a soak die, basically. So light armor gives you 1d4 soak, medium armor gives you 1d6 soak, and heavy armor gives you 1d8 soak. Which means you roll that specific die, and you subtract it from the damage you have taken. Say your character is wearing medium armor, you are hit by something that deals 5 damage, you roll a 3 on your d6 from your medium armor, which means you take 2 damage you lose 2 health, basically. And that's all really you need to know about combat. Anything more detailed will be on your character sheet, or the Game Master will explain to you before the combat or during the combat. Magic in Symbaroum is very interesting. There is no such thing as a mana pool. There is no such thing as spell slots. So technically you can just keep casting and casting and casting and casting. However, magic in Symbaroum is dangerous. Playing with powers beyond the mortal realm can and often does lead to corruption of your flesh and the corruption of your mind. Every time you cast a spell, especially if the spell is not part of your mystical school that you're a part of, or if you're part of no mystical school at all, you will gain corruption. So you can continue casting spells if you want to, but you will accumulate more and more and more and more corruption until you reach your corruption threshold, which is determined by your resolute, or go over it, and then bad things start happening. And by bad things, I mean bad things for you, the player, and his character, and a lot of fun things for the Game Master, because corruption can be a lot of fun. Usually how spells work is they are an ability that you have bought, so they're either at Novice, Adept, or Master level, and they require a resolute check to activate. And as I said, they lead to corruption a little bit, or more, depending on the spell and depending on how familiar you are with it. And that's pretty much all you need to know about magic as well. And that is also all you need to know about the rules of Symbaroum. Thanks you for watching. Everything else will be explained to you by your Game Master. So he or she, or me, if I'm your Game Master, will tell you everything beyond this. But don't worry about that for now. You know everything you need to know. And we will see you in the game. And I hope you survive, and I hope you're not eaten, and I hope you're not corrupted. Actually, scratch that. I kinda hope you get corrupted. That's a lot of fun, as I said, for the Game Master. Until then, stay safe. Bye-bye.